There seems to be trouble, drama brewing, however you want to put it, on social media. Noel Devine has called out Neil Brown and the coaching staff at West Virginia University. Who's in the right here? Couz and I are going to debate that, talk about the situation, right after this word from our sponsor. This episode of Mountaineer Paul Talk Football is brought to you by Dutch Miller Automotive, where friends and family pricing means you get the best deal right up front on any new or pre-loved vehicle in stock every time. With brands like Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Kia, Hyundai, Ford, GMC, Buick, and Subaru, the Dutch Miller Automotive family is always growing and ready to put you in the car or truck you've been searching for. Check out our inventory across West Virginia at DutchMillerAuto.com or come in today to the home of friends and family pricing, only at a Dutch Miller Automotive store near you.
This is for Cameron.
What is up, guys? Welcome in. Mountaineer Paul. It's drama season, it seems like, on the internet. A lot going on. I brought Couz in to talk about this situation. He has an interesting take on it as well. But to get you guys up to speed on what's going on here, basically, Noel Divine isn't happy over the way his son has been treated. Seems like he thinks that he maybe should have got an offer, or at least an offer that maybe was not last year. You know, something to look like a little sooner to signing day, because I think it was a preliminary offer that went out to them. And from what I've been told, basically that there was some stipulations involved. But you look at what he put on Twitter really quick. Looking to find my son, and that's his handle, a home. It's sad to see what college football has become with the transfer portal. These coaches leave high school kids left behind to get a kid that's already developed from the transfer portal. Disappointed in WVU football, coaches Neil Brown and Scott. Man's word is a man's word. These present coaches verbally offered my son a scholarship, and now they are backing out. I guess this coaching staff can't be taken at their word. WVU needs to go back onto its winning roots and get some of us to come back and coach and turn this program around to its old glory. So that's all. I mean, it's not scorched earth, but it seems like it could get worse from here. It seems like there could be some resentments brewing here. It seems like a last-ditch effort from a father that sees Bethune-Cookman as possibly the landing spot for his kid. Couz, what's your take on all this? It's sad to see Noel in this situation, and we don't ever like to see this situation happening. But what's your take on it?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, Neil Brown has made an effort. And first off, I want to do a plug of my own work here. I did an article on this over on my website, couzescorner.com, if you guys want to go check it out. But just to discuss it here on the show, it's unfortunate. Neil Brown has made a conscious effort since he's been at West Virginia to reach out and embrace the former players at West Virginia, especially those who made major impacts. I'm assuming that includes Noel Devine. I'm not sure. I don't know the details there. But it's unfortunate to see a coach who seems to have been making that effort and to see a potential relationship with one of our all-time greats go sour because of a recruiting situation. And look, I've watched the kid's tape. But I don't know the ins and outs of the situation, don't know the behind-the-scenes details. I'm sure, in my opinion, there's a legit reason they didn't make the offer. You can't offer a kid just because he's a legacy recruit. You can't do that. Now, some may argue he's good enough. Again, that's not my decision to make. He was a 3-star recruit out of the state of Florida, which is one of the best states for high school football in the country. He is small in stature. Maybe that's an issue. He's listed as a running back and he's only 155 pounds. Maybe that's an issue. I don't know. But I'd like to hear both sides of the story here, which we probably never will, to be honest, because I doubt the school's going to respond to this. I doubt Neil Brown's going to respond to this. And he probably shouldn't. But it's just unfortunate, man. And I hate to see this happen to one of our all-time greats.
Absolutely agree, man. And to me, I can see from both sides a little bit. Obviously,
Absolutely.
if you're a father,
Mhm.
I'm sure if you were in that situation, I don't know that you would take to social media for one of your girls, but had there been some maybe an offer go out to one of your girls, and I think any parent would probably be upset in this situation because you don't
Absolutely.
want to see your kid. I'm sure Andre has worked his absolute butt off to get where
Mhm.
he's at. From what I understand, this kid he's small. He's even smaller than Noel was, really.
Mhm.
And um, Noel was a 5-star recruit.
Right.
So unfortunately, this guy was a 2-star recruit for a long time and finally got that 3rd star. Um, what was the official weight? 155,
155 is
5'8".
according to 24/7 Sports. Yes.
I think that's one thing you point to. And from what I was told from a source, which would know, uh, basically he needed to gain some weight
Mhm.
and to meet some some they
Some
had some things
criteria.
for him, some
Yeah.
criteria. Thank you. Um, and I don't know if he did that or not. I reached out to Noel and only got a what's up back, and this is an issue that needs to kind of be taken on now. So I thought, well, if there's anything else to it, I'll do another video.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, I think the only thing we talked about this a little bit before the show. If I'm Noel Devine and I see that at the time, now he's no longer unranked, he's now a 3-star player. Dominic Collins was unranked at the time of signing just a few days ago, but it seems like that was in development or changing. If you want to look at that and say that's a reason that they could be mad, but he didn't even bring that up. He brought the transfer portal up, which doesn't make sense to me because what transfer portal running back did we bring into? I don't know.
Yeah. It's
And maybe he's talking about the receivers. Maybe
maybe.
they were recruiting him as a receiver, and all these receivers that they brought in,
Mhm.
which was only one at this point in time, but they did try to bring in more. So it's hard to know exactly why he said transfer portal without knowing what position they were recruiting him as. But generally speaking, I think those two things, like, okay, there's a player or two in this class you could say is definitely side by side with Andre. Possibly you're splitting hairs between them all.
Mhm.
This staff at this point, 5, 6 years in, know what fits for them.
Right.
Then Neil has said that multiple
Right.
times. So what do you think about that part? Like,
Yeah.
as far as, I mean, they know what they want.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'll touch on that first, and then I want to touch on the parent piece of this, if you don't mind, because I actually made
Yeah.
a comment on Twitter about that. But the one player that he compares to when you look at size is Dom Collins, right? There's no argument there. But Dom Collins was listed as a receiver. I'm not sure if that matters. Andre Divine did play some receiver early in his high school career, but the only tape I've been able to find, and in full disclosure, I haven't looked extensively, was he basically was just running go routes. I'm not sure if he's really, I think he plays running back most of the time. So I think that would be his natural position. But I'm not sure if, I don't know. I did read somewhere. I wasn't able to find the article a second time, but I did read somewhere that he runs a 4.7. Andre Divine does. His dad was running in the 4.3 range, I think. Dom Collins is running the sub 4.3. So, I mean, that may matter. But more importantly than that, there are things they look at. You kind of touched on it, Paul. It's bigger than just on the field. And I don't know the situation with this young man. I don't know anything about his fit with the program or any of that stuff. The coaches would have a better feel for that than we would. And as far as the parenting piece, as a dad, my kid, none of my kids have gotten scholarship offers or anything like that. But as for not for sports anyway. But as a dad, I can kind of relate to this, and I can understand a parent wanting to fight for their kid. We all do. And none of us want to see our kid disappointed. None of us want to see our kid get left out of something, especially if we feel like they deserve it. But at the same time, being a helicopter, I think he's being a little bit of a helicopter parent here. And that can be a turnoff to coaches. And I mean, I coach travel sports. I've heard other coaches speak on this. Frank Martin did a really good rant on this one time in a press conference when he was at South Carolina. And I think that's who it was anyway. If you're a parent and you try to interfere with your kid, a coach does not want to deal with you, period. And it makes the kid unrecruitable. Maybe there's a little bit too much of that
That's a
going
great
on.
point.
Now, look, I might be maybe I'm reading too much into it, but when you look on Noel Divine's page, there's a lot of that going on. It seems like a lot of promotion of his own kid. And I just
Wow, I
don't
didn't
know
even
if,
consider that.
I don't know if that's something that could have potentially turned the coaches off. I don't know.
Well,
But at the end of
yeah.
the day, you can't sign a kid just because his dad was a star here. I mean, it's unfortunate, but you they have to fit all, they have to check all the other boxes. And maybe he
No,
doesn't. I don't know.
you nailed it, dude. Like, I think this is a piece of it. If I had to guess, Noel's a big. First of all, this is a guy that's played in college and the pros, and so he's touched a wide array or different parts of the country. A lot of people know who Noel Devine is from the college football games. As a matter of fact, I would say if you wanted to name two, West Virginia is absolutely one of the most popular teams of all time in college football games
Mm-hmm.
because of how good we were back then. And our team had we had the most mobile quarterback in the game,
Mm-hmm.
Pat White, and Noel Devine was one of the best running backs in the game in like a 96 or 97 rating, whatever he was at the time. So a lot of people remember that and still play the game. So I
Right.
think, a lot of people know who he is. And when you're judging as a coach what could hurt or not hurt the program, excuse me, Andre comes in, let's say a promise maybe they feel isn't kept or he doesn't get to play or maybe he has to transfer and things get ugly. You're talking about damage and somebody that can actually speak on what went on inside the program at that point
Mm-hmm.
and who the sounding board is this guy with all these thousands of followers. So what you were saying there basically is if he's willing to speak out over this, what's he going to do if he actually made the team and things didn't work out?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, that would be something I would consider as a coach. Like, are we going to be able to shut this guy up if things go south with the kid?
Mm-hmm.
We're already taking a chance on him, and if you're already not high on him, then I don't know. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so
But
basically, it's a tough situation, though.
yeah. And I think too, when back to the Dom Collins situation, Dom Collins being an in-state kid, I think that mattered in this situation as well. So, but again, that's really the only other player in this class that you can compare him to.
Yeah,
As far as his
yeah,
skill
because
set
most
and
of the
his,
running backs.
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I was going to say, and his skill set and his size.
Yeah, and both running backs in this class are. I don't want to get into it too much, but to me, my evaluation, both Dior Hubbard and Travion Dunbar are both better, at least on paper and on film, than Andre at this point. Does that mean in 2 or 3 years of college that would be the case? Can't say. But if you're just evaluating these kids out of high school, those two are studs. We brought in
Yep.
two really good running backs this year.
Yep.
So,
Agreed.
Unfortunately, coaches are able to get in high school better players. Now, before we wrap up, I do think it's possible, and I am a little worried about this. I think Andre is the kind of guy that 2 or 3 years down the road, and after he gets in school and gets bigger, we might regret this. And we
Possibly.
probably need to touch on that really quick. It's possible he may go to Marshall. It's possible that Pitt may throw in an offer just to spite us. I wouldn't be surprised, or something like that may be coming where we have to really keep up with this, and that we will if it happens.
Right.
Or he might go to the FCS and tear it up. But there are going to be detractors. There are going to be people. He's probably going to have success at some point, and they'll point back to this and say we should have signed him. But just remember, at least how things are right now. As things stand right now, in my opinion, they probably did the right thing based on the players that we got,
Yeah.
including Dom Collins. So that's unfortunate because I want the best for Noel and Andre, but
Absolutely.
I'm on the coach's side on this one, and at the end of the day, that's just what it is.
Yep. Absolutely.
Got anything else on it?
I'm good, bro. Thank you for having me on.
No problem. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment on this situation. Let us know. If you disagree with us, that's fine. Don't forget to go check out Couz's Corner .com and read the article. He posted an article about this entire situation, and you can verbally, if you'd rather read or you want to have something to read, This will be something, and he's really upgraded that thing to where you can just slide from one to the next. You don't
Yeah,
have to
it's
search for different articles.
much more
It's a
user
lot more
friendly, and
premium.
the article actually touches on a couple other tweets too that we didn't touch on in the show. So you will get new information over there in that article. So
don't forget to check out Couz's Corner as well, guys. As always, I'm sure most of you guys already do, but if there's any of you that aren't, check it out. Thank you to Dutch Miller for sponsoring us on all of our platforms and shows. Thank you for everything you guys do for me on this side here. This has been another edition of Mountaineer Paul Talks Football. This episode is over, and we are